From the city of brotherly love, this is Shark Bite Biz with David Strausser.
Oops, you did it again. You just arrived to the newest episode of Shark Bite Biz. I'm your rock star wannabe host, David Strausser. This is your place to grow a business during complete global chaos. I'm ready to watch my Eagles today. In fact, I'm wearing number 11 because it's Wentz's first game back into Philadelphia. I know this episode comes out Monday after the game, but I usually record my intros and outros the Sunday before the air so that they're the freshest possible. And I got my Philadelphia Eagles spirit going on today. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, it's about connections. But first, please make sure you hit the super thanks button if you're watching on YouTube. You know, if you love the spirit of Shark Bite Biz and everything that we do to help you grow with the 3 Gs, personal growth, professional growth, and most importantly, business growth, hit that super thanks button. And whether it's $1, $5, $15, $20, whatever it is, every little dime helps us out. So let's get back to today's show. We got an awesome startup that's coming on, and we're going to chat with, and from there, we're going to learn about some of their new technology that they're doing now that we're kind of in this post-COVID world. Hopefully, I mean, who knows? The president said it, but then the White House retracted it. I don't know where we are, but events are coming back in pretty much all 50 states. And, you know, today's guest got a technology that's going to help you rekindle that personal connection. So who do we have today? None other than Arjun Rai. Arjun Rai is a serial entrepreneur and founder of HelloWolfie.com, a smart marketing dashboard. He holds fast in his mantra that every small business and entrepreneur should have an unfair advantage that allows them to compete with the unlimited marketing budgets of their corporate competitors. With Hello Wolfie, he's used his skills to create a seamless, innovative, and efficient digital marketing experience that leverages the power of visualized data science and artificial intelligence. Boasting more than 10,000 members and having raised more than $1.3 million in VC and crowdsource funding. So hey, without further delay, let's bring Arjun right on in here.
Creative and innovation tips.
Arjun, welcome to Shark Bite Biz. You, my friend, you just became Shark Bait.
Woo!
Love it, right?
Totally. In fact, the Shark Tank show is one of my favorites. I grew up watching, so this is great.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Coincidentally, has nothing to do with them. I was just thinking of a show name, and you know, when I think of business, I think of sharks. You know, like it's either eat or be eaten, and you got to be the king of the sea per se. Sure. And you know, that's kind of where the name came from. But I guess that kind of does play to Shark Tank. Who knows? But whatever, it is what it is. We have a tradition on this show. Okay, very first question, every single person's got to answer. Okay, you know, what's your background? What's your experience? What do you do for a living? How'd you get there? Basically, in a nutshell, tell us what makes Arjun Arjun.
So I've been doing startups and you know, just technology inventions and projects since I was a teenager. Did 4 major projects, 4 startups, but the one that, you know, we're most proud of, or I'm most proud of, is taking all the lessons from the past and applying them to Hello Wolfie. And then we just launched a new app called SelfTac, which is selfiecontact.com. And so the idea behind that is smart networking. You just take a selfie and you know, it creates the message for you, follows up for you, does everything that you want in a networking event. But the way I got to that is by doing a lot of small projects, doing a lot of inventions, doing a lot of, you know, let's see if this works or not, and being inspired by sci-fi. And I was always like, how do I bring the future into the present? And so all my companies, if you take a look at what we did.
So you did a case study on Black Mirror, basically.
There you go. So we were always ahead of the curve. So with Hello Wolfie, I was like, we got to do something that actually ships, that actually generates revenue, and then use that to then, you know, do more good for small businesses. We call them underdogs, and my dog is our real mascot.
Yeah, there you go. Your dog Snoopy, right?
Snoopy, yep. He's in a canoe right now with my dad.
There you go. Gotta love that. So let's jump right in here then. I mean, one of the topics that you had is how to start a social media agency from home. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in marketing. The economy is kind of, I guess you can say, weird right now, and people are looking for side hustles, side gigs, and stuff like that. I mean, how feasible is it for somebody to create a social media agency from home?
It is very feasible. We know that most of our customers tend to work from home. They tend to be women between the ages of 30 and 60. They have multiple responsibilities outside their work. And so we're seeing that more and more people are actually opting to work from home or do a hybrid model. But they also have a lot of, family, obligations, and obviously pets now too. More pets were adopted and bought during the pandemic than ever before. So we're seeing a lot of family and at home changes occurring very, very quickly. And so running a social media agency remotely is something that you'll see on TikTok. People are promoting. You'll see Ty Lopez talking about it. He's been talking about it for years, where it's like make 5, 10K, whatever, from home, but obviously no guarantees there. But the idea is that you're able to own your time, and you're able to provide services that are super flexible. Great conduits would be like Fiverr to find clients. Upwork would be great. But once you find clients, then you obviously have to schedule the content, create the content. And that's when you come to Hello Wolfie, because we help you do not only the social management, but newsletter management, smart speakers. Most people don't know that there are 500 million Alexa devices in the world. Who's broadcasting to them, and you're right. So, and then many other channels that like blog management as well. It's super important to be able to do that. But yeah, work from home, it's the new, or hybrid is the new norm.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, you see that every day. It seems like there's a new battle going on between employees and bosses of return to the office or work from home. I've got to say, my day job, Vision 33, most of us have always been work from home, even pre-pandemic. So it was kind of like a no-brainer. Like, okay, well, just make work from home permanent. Now, there's a few situations where there's some high value talent or something like that they're like, yeah, I won't work from home. Too many distractions. I need to be in an office. And, we make those decisions accordingly when we need to. But for the most part, everybody's worked from home and they love it.
Well, the thing is, you do need social interaction. So I think we're social creatures. Even if you're an introvert or an extrovert, it doesn't matter. Which is why I like the hybrid model. You can go in 2 days, maybe 1 day, and then come, work from home and schedule your side hustles and your, family around the last 3 days, right? And then you have the weekend for yourself. Or to do your own side hustle as well. It's going to go in that direction. You're seeing a lot of that happen in Europe, and the US is kind of following suit. I mean, France is a little extreme. Apparently, you can text, call anyone after the work hour or work day, otherwise you'll be fined. That's what I heard. So they're a little extreme, but I think you're going to see a hybrid of a lot of these trends coming together.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I think that's a little bit extreme, because I mean, when you get into work from home, especially, I mean, we've had a lot of experts that, to me, they're pretty much saying it's about the work you do, hitting deadlines, hitting the project stuff. We don't care if you do that at 10 a.m. or if that's done at 10 p.m. There's obviously stuff that you got to do between 9 and 5, but if you receive an email at 10 o'clock at night, that doesn't mean that you have to answer that email at 10 o'clock at night. It's just because that person was busy and that's when they're sending it.
Yeah, unless it says urgent in the subject line. I mean, here's the thing. Netflix has been doing unlimited vacations for a very long time, right? And their retentions were better. Their churn was low, employee churn. A lot of the metrics that Netflix set became the standard for a lot of other companies to give you unlimited vacations or unlimited work from homes or whatever. And it actually helped mental health, right? It helped, and the mental health is becoming a big topic for startups, for founders. And again, you're seeing all these trends come together: mental health, work from home, hybrid, being able to travel whenever you want to, doing side hustles when you need to, or when you want to. You're going to see a combination. I think the pandemic really had a silver lining. I mean, putting the negative aside, I think the major I think our civilization moved forward very quickly, where it would have been in 20 years and moved forward in 2 years.
We got pushed off the digital cliff. I mean, that's the way that I view it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of innovation came out of that. Delivery. For example, home delivery, groceries. In New York, electric scooters became legal after a lot of bureaucracy and politics. Finally, they were like, "There's so many, we'll make it legal and we'll put regulation around it." For a very long time, it was in a gray zone. So all of these delivery guys now have a better viability to be able to do what they need to do to provide for their family. You're seeing drone deliveries becoming a norm. The FAA finally approved, after a long time they were like, nah, we don't know, but now they're doing, Amazon's doing drone deliveries. It's moved civilization forward. And in our business, we actually grew faster in the pandemic than ever before because digital marketing became such a hot topic. They realize that they cannot expect people to just walk in the door and say, hey, I want to buy this. They need to do that digitally, and they have to build a community. That's what we do. You help.
Well, you also have to remember too that there's a lot of business, like you brought up before about the bracelets. That's a business. They're called Strung. They've been on the show. And they used to sell most of their stuff at events, at rock concerts, stuff like that. Not really e-commerce. I mean, e-commerce to them was like a secondary thought. And when the pandemic hit and there was no concerts to go to, no live events to go to, then it's like, oh crap, we've got to pivot and go all in on e-commerce and digital marketing and all of that stuff. And it actually blew their business up and grew their business to a level that they've never really thought would be imaginable. I mean, it's kind of crazy because they're also in a rock band that is kind of famous too. Yeah. And that's how it started because the wife is a singer. The husband, I believe, is a guitar player or bassist. I forget. And it started because she started making these bracelets out of his used guitar strings. And that's kind of how the business grew. But, long story to the short is they had to pivot and innovate because of the pandemic and go all in and market and do all those things that they weren't doing previously. And I think to the greater sense, that's what happened to a lot of businesses. So when you say that your business grew astronomically during the pandemic, I think that's probably why, because companies like that needed a solution.
Well, they needed a solution and they needed to build their communities for the first time exclusively online. Now it's becoming hybrid. I mean, New York City is back in, is strong. There are waiting lines at restaurants, but I would say the restaurants are realizing that there needs to be a healthy relationship with the customer before and after they come into the restaurant, right? Or they deliver from the restaurant and things of that nature. So I like to say we're a tribe building platform or a community building platform because unlike our competition that only does social media automation, we do social with AI, we do blogs, newsletters, smart speakers, web stories for SEO. We'll have direct mail, text messaging, and team management by the end of the year. And this is the crazy thing. Yeah, this is the crazy thing. We know that most of our customers work from home. And so we said, how do we make them look bigger in front of their clients, right? Like a big agency, like a big marketing agency.
That's the beauty of the web. You can make a 5-person business look like it's a Fortune 500 company with the proper tools.
With the proper tools and the proper branding and just how you create a presentation. So we said we should combine that into augmented reality. So your client can, have their, Hello Wolfie application. You can have the Hello Wolfie application and you can tell them, hey, come on in and I'll show you exactly what we're building, what we're working on. And in augmented reality, you can see all of your marketing content floating in front of you. You can see the timeline on the right of you that shows you where the content's going. And you can literally have your client plug the content, schedule it by just putting it on the timeline, or you could do it in front of them. And that's your visual way of, telling them what you've been working on. And in the old days, you would bring them into a conference room and you would just cover the walls with mood boards, storyboards, all the ideas, the art direction. This is the AR version and you don't have to be in the same room anymore. So we're going to be shipping that pretty soon. And that's going to completely blow away how people collaborate on marketing content.
That's great. I think for the first time ever, we've probably recorded about 180 episodes. We have about 163 published. I finally just got, I guess, what would it be? Video bombed by my newly minted 5-year-old walking in during an interview. Has never happened before. It's pretty crazy.
I'm really good with kids. That's what, and puppies. He was like, I know that guy.
yeah, that was crazy. It was like, holy cow. But and then he just walks out and leaves the door wide open. So I had to text the wife, close my office door. But besides that, one of the points that you brought up earlier that I want to circle back to is you were bringing up like the mental health. And I guess that also leads into the spiritual journey of building a startup, because let's face it, I mean, building a startup, whether it's now, whether it was, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it's tough. I think probably now it's even tougher than it was before, because you get into things like VC and funding and stuff like that. And if you look at where the economy's going, people are starting to get very conservative with how they spend their money and what they invest in. I think at this,
some of the best companies, if you think about it historically, they were either started or they had to survive a major downturn, like 2008, the .com, you name it, or 9/11. They survived and they became stronger than ever before. And one of my investors, he it's a scout venture for Peter Thiel. They were our first check in years ago. He describes us as being the cockroaches. You can't get rid of us, right? We always figure out how to survive. We always figure out how to ship product and build it and helps customers, or in our case, small businesses. And there are probably 10,000 other examples that I don't even know about, and they're not going to exist, right? I mean, the fact that we've been around for almost 6 years, we raised almost 1.6 million, and we're, and now looking for partners to help us scale.
Would you view yourselves as like a lean startup? You're not bleeding money. You have just enough to do what you need to operate?
I tend to be conservative too with our estimates and operations, the expenses and everything. If you had another typical founder, like many that we've heard about in the news, that just spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars and just whatever, that doesn't work. We want to build a company for the long tail.
Yeah. So what about, again, back to the topic I was asking, with the mental, spiritual journey, I mean, being a startup, how hard is that for you being the founder?
I think you have to find the right advisors, the right mentors, and the right sources of spirituality. Like for me, it's years ago when I was, I think, like 15 or so, in a small bookshop in Union Square in New York City, I found a book called The Secret, and by Rhonda Byrne, which is actually based off another book which is very famous by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. And I thought I was going to listen. You remember those days when you're in the Bed Bath & Beyond, you have like a kiosk where you can have the album covers and you can listen to them by tapping on them. But the bookstore had that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to this thing for like maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. I ended up just standing there listening for 2 hours, and finally my mom bought the CD for me. It was an audiobook version of it, and it completely changed my life. And it was about the law of attraction. It was about positivity. It's about just how mindset is super important. And wherever I go, whatever I do, I always tend to find pieces of that because my mindset is already in tune with that. And so you have to find something like that for yourself. It could be religious, it could be spiritual, it could be a person, whatever it is. For me, it's The Secret. And that has helped me overcome many challenges.
That's great, and that's pretty awesome info to hear, because the law of attraction, as you mentioned, that's one of the things that I also am a big believer in, and I think it really just comes down to reaching out and grabbing your dreams and taking ownership over them, more than just wishing something will happen and then it magically happens. It's actually you visualizing it and then taking the steps to actually achieve your goals. And if you do that you'll get that. And I think that to me, that's what the law of attraction is. And that's how I believe in it. And that's how I practice it. So I'm sure to at least some extent of that, you kind of agree.
Absolutely. It's not about hocus pocus. It's about making sure that you're recognizing the opportunities, the people that come into you. I always believe in what Steve Jobs said: you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect the dots looking back. And so whenever someone comes into my life or something happens to me, good or not good, I always know that there's a reason for it to happen, and whether it's to push me forward or push me in a different direction, or it's to open my mind, whatever it may be. I've always found it to have a positive impact, both me personally as well as Hello Wolfie and Self Tech, in a very positive way. I mean, I'm here at my Airbnb host right now, and in the bathroom, I was like, you know what, the universe always does cool things for me, because in the bathroom, there's this quote that says, let's see. First of all, there's a little stone that says laugh. And then on the top, it says,
You're not in the bathroom right now, right?
No, but it says,
okay.
I have the video here. It says, we talk and think only of abundance here. And then the Wi-Fi router, it's so funny. It's called Health, Wealth, and Happiness.
There you go.
Like, of all the places I could be in LA, this is such a universal, alignment.
Yeah, no, that's definitely I don't know if I want to call it a coincidence, but you go back to the law of attraction, and it's kind of funny how those things just line up. If it's more than just wanting it. I think that's the biggest thing people misunderstand with the law of attraction, that you have to more than just want it. You actually have to be doing the steps for it to happen. And if you do, that's where then you will bring that law of attractness to you. That's where things will step in your path that help you, because you did the right steps to get there, to be in that place at the right time.
Absolutely. And like, for example, I'm here to raise capital, meet great people, meet founders, meet potential advisors and partners. And so I'm in the process, right, of doing the things I need to do for pushing my business to the forefront and forward. And you're just little things like this just validate and confirm the journey itself.
So let's talk then about that, because you said that you're there as far as getting funding, seeking funding, meeting people, stuff like that. What about doing equity crowdfunding for your big idea like Hello Wolfie? How does that work? Explain the process, because there's probably a ton of business people listening to this show right now that are like, hey, I got an awesome idea, or I started this, but I just need to find people to invest in it. How do you get those investors?
Yeah, so we've done 4 equity crowdfunding campaigns in the past. They're called Reg CF campaigns as well. And this started under the Obama administration, where people, really believe that the average person should be able to invest, not just accredited, extremely wealthy individuals. And so it took several years. And the notable platforms that came out of that were WeFunder and Republic. And so we ended up doing two major campaigns on Republic. We did 2 campaigns on WeFunder. And we raised about 1.2 million, and the average campaign typically raises between like 50 to 100K, right? So we did way better than the average.
I've invested on WeFunder. Yeah. Unfortunately it wasn't for you. I did not see your campaign in WeFunder, but I missed it. I occasionally look over it every now and then when I get their emails. There was one company I did invest in a couple years back, but it's a legit platform for crowdfunding, like you guys. And if you're ever in WeFunder again, I promise you will be my next next investment on that platform.
Virtual hugs to you. But for us, the story was very simple. We said, hey, if you're going to be in this for the long haul, this business has to be for small businesses. So we said, this business, if you're going to, let's say, buy the license for $100, $50, or $1,000, our license for Hello Wolfie, why not invest as low as $100 into the company? You get a little bit, piece of it, the action. And as we scale, obviously your equity would then appreciate, ideally. And then you can become an affiliate, potentially make all of it back or a percentage of it back. by inviting other people. So it just became a win-win situation where we built the business with our customers and let them have a piece of the business at the same time. And so we have about 3,000 investors, majority of whom I do not know. I've never met, but I know they're our customers, they're advisors, they're partners. They're because everyone, the average customer, I think, put in about $315. Which is 3 times the minimum that was required.
What was the minimum? I know when I invested back then, it was like usually around $100 being the minimum.
It was $100. You kept it really low, but obviously as you invested more, you got more perks. You got free licenses. You got a shout out. Things of that nature. But it shows how powerful equity crowdfunding is, because you can turn to your community. Being a community building platform ourselves, we turned to our community and said, "Hey, do you want to be in on the next big platform that's helping people like you?" And obviously the answer was yes, and we raised 1.2.
That is an amazing, an amazing story, and I think it's a great use case because people do see platforms out there like WeFunder, and they wonder if those companies are legit, if they're real, do they have viability? I'll tell you straight out, the company that I invested on, I think I have it right here. Usually I don't step up and grab something in mid-show, but I actually just got my certificate for shareholder, and I did that with, it was for Legion M, and I got that right off of WeFunder, and it was a great platform, and it's one of the things that, I'm not the richest person out there. I wish I had more money to spend on investment. One thing, I kind of went down a crypto hole for a while, which I'm reaping, the sadness in right now. But I kind of wish that I kind of wish that I would have invested more in some of those early startups on WeFunder. Again, like you said with your Steve Jobs quote, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, not forward. And I wish instead of buying all the Dogecoin that I did, that maybe I put that into different WeFunder companies that would have more value today or in the future. But it's lessons learned, and it's one of the things that for me personally, and remember, everybody out there, full disclosure, I am not a financial advisor, so do as you will. This is just my personal experience. But going forward, I definitely would be looking more at companies like that, because I do see many companies that have, made it big off, whether it's Kickstarter, whether it is, Kickstarter is something that, the last Kickstarter item I bought was, I think it was AA Wireless. And I don't know if you're familiar with them, but I know that they give you Android Auto wirelessly. So you have a car that has Android Auto built in. And instead of plugging your cell phone into the USB connector, basically you connect this little dongle instead. And therefore your cell phone connects to the dongle wirelessly and detects it as soon as you start the car up. So there's no need for you to ever connect your cell phone, which is good because usually those, the USB ports that you connect your Apple phone or your Android phone in, that's like a trickle charger. I mean, they are the slowest of slowest USB ports. And that way you can have it on a fast charger to charge your phone while you're driving. And then you have the wireless. But I mean, even with them, they were so successful with their delivery that I just read an article, I think it was about 2 days ago. Now the product's being full blown sold on Amazon, and it's extremely popular because it's given older vehicles that do not have wireless capabilities for cell phones that capability. And that's a big bonus to have, I think. I don't know, maybe it's just me because I'm techie.
That's interesting. That's interesting because more cars are also sold in the last few years than ever before, especially used cars, like the older models. This is another example of, people jumping on the bandwagon when the trends are hot, and capitalizing on that. But going back to the equity crowdfunding side of things. I highly recommend checking out WeFunder, Republic. If anyone needs help on those things, just email me, Arjun@hellowolfie.com. I love the platforms because they've been really nice to us. and they really help small businesses and startups like us find the means to raise capital so that we can do great things. And so I'm happy to make introductions.
So I got one last topic I want to talk to you about, and I think this is important in an I don't know if we want to say post-COVID world, but I did just see CDC guidelines got updated yesterday that if I read them right, even like quarantining's almost not even necessarily anymore if you are positive, it seemed like. So I guess we can say that we're in a post-COVID world, but I'm not 100% sure yet because it seems like things change by the hour. But networking on and offline, a lot of networking events are coming back. Some are hybrid, some are only online, some are only in person. What's your take on networking, both on and offline?
I think it needs to be done differently and more with an emphasis on relationships. So for example, and this app we just launched about 5-6 days ago is called Self-Tact, selfiecontact.com, and you can download it for Android and iOS as of today. The idea behind that was that most of the time when I was going to networking events, let's say you and I met at a networking event or as a happy hour or a dinner or whatnot.
Oh, believe me, you want to meet me at a happy hour. Ooh, that's a fun time.
Okay, so let's what would happen is I would be like, hey, let's take a selfie, and I'll write your name down, I'll write your email down, your phone number, and then a little note saying where we met, right? Because I'd forget. What we realized is that I wasn't the only one doing that. It turns out a lot of people are doing that. They're just taking selfies, but they're putting in different places, and then they forget, and then they add them to their contact, app, and then they're like, oh my God, who did I meet? Because everyone's alphabetical now.
What I end up doing is not the selfie mode, but I end up actually writing it on their business card when they give me their business card, so that way I remember.
Well, hopefully you have the business card afterwards.
Oh, I don't get that drunk anymore. That in my 20s, yes, not the 30s.
Let's automate this process and say, okay, you and I take a selfie, and then ask you for your name, email, contact, and all that, and then it actually remembers a geo tag of where we met, puts it on a map in a Google map, and then also creates the message for you saying, hey, David, we met at, Los Angeles, California. Let's connect. Here's my Calendly, let's book a call. And it'll automatically send the selfie. It'll automatically create the content for the email, for the text message. You could even call the person if you wanted to from Self-Tact. And I was like, holy wow, this is so simple. And people are downloading it like crazy left and right, because that's how you're going into the relationship economy and saying, hey, I really want to talk to you. And I really, wanted to continue that conversation. And now I'm going to remember because the AI and the smart, Self-Tact app is going to help me do that. And so that literally is 5 days, 6 days old. Self-Tact, selfiecontact.com. So we took the self from selfie and the tact, TACT, from contact, and combine the two.
Self-Tact. I am downloading it as we speak. There it is. Right here. Downloading it right here. And it's totally free.
Totally free. We want to know how we can make it better. And of course, if you want, we're going to be, at some point we're going to be upselling it.
Okay. So that was my question, because obviously giving a product away for free costs you guys money. I mean, while it might be free for the end user, it's not free for the business. And that's the big thing that I think some people are ignorant to. They think, it's free, there's no cost. When in reality, yeah, there is a cost, just that the business is paying it, you're not paying it. And I mean, do you view this like the future roadmap is a way to be able to upsell it into getting people into the Hello Wolfie ecosystem per se?
We call it loss leader product, right? You sell the whatever, like the burger, but then you upsell the fries and the drinks and all that stuff. And that's where McDonald's makes most of its money.
Supersize it.
So in our case, this is actually helping us understand.
You're going to be the next documentary about No, I'm kidding.
So in our case, this is actually helping us learn about small businesses, how to help small businesses, startups, and founders. But then also we can say, hey, you're doing a lot of networking, you're meeting a lot of people. Let's help you build a tribe. Let's help you build a community. And obviously that's a natural into Hello Wolfie for $99 a year or $100 a year, whatever it is the offer. Go ahead and use a discount code and start using Hello Wolfie as well. So we're going to upsell. We don't anticipate charging for the app anytime soon. It's going to be free for this foreseeable future. We just want feedback. So like literally tell us, we've been getting feedback, for example, can you do this as an export to Infusionsoft or Salesforce, or can you have a bulk export? And so we're taking a lot of feedback. Mind you, it's only been 5 days. We're getting so much feedback already from hardcore networkers that it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, especially getting into things like ERPs. My day job, we do SAP, like SAP Business One, which is for small business, the Business by Design, which is for larger small business to medium businesses, and then we do Sage Intacct. But something like that and having those integrations I built out, I think would be a major bonus as well too, because then you're able to get it into those CRM platforms.
The other thing we're now talking to event organizers is about how do we actually create brand exposure. So when you go to an event, right, if you're just taking a selfie, it's for you and the other person. But those areas in the event where there are like a whole bunch of logos and sponsors, and people love taking photos in front of those. We're going to do that with AR filters. So if you and I are taking a selfie, it's going to have that background automatically uploaded, or maybe the host is like giving you a hug or whatever. It's gonna be funny, but that is a huge point of validation.
Humor is key. Humor is key for everything, and that's kind of what makes me special, because of the fact that I don't mind saying out loud, no matter how quirky or corny it makes me look, but it's kind of like my differentiating factor. 99% of the people won't say what everybody's thinking out loud. I'll say it. It's not that I don't have a filter. I have a filter, and oftentimes I'm like, should I or shouldn't I? Whereas if I didn't have a filter, I would just blurt it out. But I usually end up saying it, but saying it in a tactful way. And it's the thing that kind of breaks through to get people to remember me and hopefully like me. But humor is the key to everything. I think it's a big part of my success and a big part of a lot of people's successes. But anyways, Arjun, hey, this has been amazing. I had a great conversation with you. You survived being trick bait.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, Dave. I really do.
Yeah, no problem. Last question. Just how can everybody find out more about Hello Wolfie and all the stuff that you're doing?
Just go to hellowolfie.com. Wolfie is spelled WOOFY.com. And just email me, ARJUN@hellowolfie.com with feedback, feature requests and things of that nature. And if you want to take your networking, effort to the next level, go to selftac.com or selfiecontact.com. We own both domains. And download the Selftac app, which is totally free, and start taking selfies and networking with your people, with your friends and your colleagues like never before. We just want feedback. We want to help you as a small business owner, as an underdog, maximize your community and networking, abilities. And that's where we make money, when you make money.
Okay. So you got Hello Wolfie, you got underdogs. How long until we see a super dog product?
Coming soon.
Coming soon. There we go. Hey, Arjun, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. And definitely check out Hello Wolfie, and we will have all the links down below in the description like usual. Thank you so much. Very gracious of your time to come on here. Cheers.
Wow, such a great interview with Arjun, right? Totally loved it. Really, really awesome for me. Great story, all that. First, though, the routine. If you found this interview helpful, if it sparked those warm and fuzzies, do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. But if you really want to help us out, because Shark Bite Biz is the greatest kept secret in the world of small business, please do us a favor. Share us out to your network, your friends, your family, your colleagues. You are the person, the people that can help our show grow more, grow faster, get a deeper connection with people, and help people find the 3Gs of personal growth, professional growth, and most importantly, their business growth. Share us wherever you dwell on the interwebs, whether it is LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Minds, anywhere that you go, share us out. I would love to see nothing more than hellowolfie.com and Shark Bite Biz out there trending. Now let's get back to the real rock star of this episode, Mr. Arjun Rai. First, massive respect for the startup community. I mean, it is not easy at all. It's a very hustle-like culture.
24/7. Coming from the sales biz dev world, I always have a saying, sales never sleep. You have to be available when the customer's available. Yeah, I get occasional weekend call, occasional call in late evening, occasional call on Thanksgiving, occasional call on Christmas. They may be a Jewish customer, for example, that doesn't celebrate Christmas. They could be doing work from home, whatever it is, and they give me a call. I'm there to answer because I am there to sell a deal whenever a customer is ready to buy. And that's a thing. Like, that happens sparingly for me. It's only when we're working on deal cycles or more that I manage a team, whenever my sales reps need me to jump in to give those warm and fuzzies. When you're in the hustle, in the startup culture, that hustle, that's 24/7. That's nonstop, and if you really survive that hustle culture and become truly profitable and get real funding. So massive respect for Hello Wolfie in succeeding, because again, it's very, very hard with the never-ending work cycle that Arjun is putting into the business in a very highly competitive market space. That's the thing. It's not like he's the only business out there doing what he's doing. He is competing in a place that is filled with very established companies. And what I found was crazy is because I manage, a lot of social media sites. Some I've gave up on. I don't do as much just because I don't have the time. But the price that these social media management platforms are charging right now, I mean, it is ludicrous. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was a fraction of the cost that it costs today to be able to manage social media and have auto posts set up and stuff like that. I mean, it's probably up tenfold, if not more. However, you got to keep this in mind. If you're out there, you have an idea, you have a business, you have a cause, whatever it is, just because a marketplace is filled with competition doesn't mean there is not a place for you. You can still build a company by differentiating your product or service, just like Hello Wolfie did. They do it totally different way. And I'll tell you what, looking at their pricing, stuff like that, I found their pricing to be very attractive because compared to their competitors, at least the big competitors that they have, Hello Wolfie's annual fee, is probably what most of the competitors charge on a monthly basis, or pretty close to it, So within 2-3 months, you've already spent what Hello Wolfie charges during a year. So I love that. I also have to mention, I really love what Arjun has done with Self-Tac. I'm about to go to my first event since I did this interview. Okay, I'm about to go to, it is the New Jersey Manufacturing Day Expo. It's put on by the NJMEP, which is kind of a manufacturers association in New Jersey. We'll be there October 7th with Vision 33 with our partners Avalara, Boyum, SAP. We'll have a little booth there, so come find us if you're going to be there. But I will be using Self-Tac for the first time at a networking event, and I'm pretty excited about it, because I really want to see. Yeah, I've tested it out. I've tried it with my wife, my family, and I'm like, yeah, this works pretty cool. Now I want to try it in a networking setting and see exactly how good it works in real life, because to me, I think that's amazing. And having something like that, a free app is a perfect low-hanging fruit to try to get people into the Hello Wolfie ecosystem, especially because we're easing into meeting people and networking once again. So the timing couldn't be better. Congrats on that product launch. I love it so far. Cannot wait to test it out. About 2 weeks away, roughly. So again, awesome stuff, Arjun. Love what you're doing with both HelloWolfie.com and also Self-Tac, and really, it's just creating a business that's about connecting people, whether it's digitally or in person. It's really great stuff. Everybody out there, if you loved what you heard, please go check out HelloWolfie.com. Download the Self-Tac app. You're going to love what you get. Question of the day. When are you attending your next networking event? Is this the first networking event you're attending in this post-COVID era? Let's see. I'd love to see what you have to say. Leave your comments down below if you're watching on YouTube. Remember, if you want to be on the show, please shoot out an email to interviews@sharkbitebiz.com. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to join the channel. $3 a month, you can become a baby shark and support the channel. Or if you really just love this interview, hit that super thanks button right there. It's a heart with a dollar sign. Give $1, $2, $3, whatever you can afford. It helps us carry out the mission of what we're doing, is bringing these top CEOs, these top experts out there, telling their stories to help you grow. You all know this by now, but I'll tell you once again. I'm David Strausser. This is Shark Bite Biz, and we'll see you all next episode. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Shark Bite Biz. We hope you got some insightful info from this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to us through your favorite podcast app and visit us on the web at www.sharkbitebiz.com. How has business changed for you in the 20s? Email us at podcast@sharkbitebiz.com so you can join us and share your story.